Hello, my name's Timmy. I'm an amateur portrait photographer and I'm a happy Nikon D3X owner. So I'll talk about my experience of buying and owning that and why there isn't much chat about the D3X online and the flaws with it and why people haven't liked it. Last time I had a crack at this, the background fell down in the middle of it, which was quite comical, but I've kind of lost my thread. So we'll proceed with this one, shall we? Yeah, I bought this in January 2019 for 650 quid UK, and I've been very pleased with it. At the time, I was looking. I was using a D700 and a D7100, and I was looking for a higher resolution Nikon full frame body, and the D750 seemed the obvious choice. And a decent used one in nice condition with not too many on the clock was around sort of 850, 900 quid. And I went into my local London Camera Exchange to see if I could get one. They had one there, and I sort of saw this there, and I was just completely taken with the look of it, which is an awful reason for buying a camera, because you like the look of it. But you know, I knew that Joe McNally had used one of these as his high-res camera for a while, and I thought, well, it can't be that terrible. It's made by Nikon. It's, you know, it was their total flagship in 2008. It came out at $7,999. So I didn't think it could be completely bad. So on the other hand, the angry photographer had always said it was terrible, and in his kind of classic Nikons you want to own reviews, he'd always liked the D3 models and the D3S and the plain D3 and the D4 and all that kind of thing, but he'd always said the D3X should be avoided and was no good. But anyway, I said to them, can I pay you $650 for it, take it home, give it a go, and if I don't like it, bring it back? And they said yes. So I thought, well, nothing to lose. So I took it home, and I do mainly studio portraits with flash. That's kind of, I'm not pro, but that's what I like doing. And it seemed to me extremely good. It seemed to me it focused as well or more readily than the D700. And I just really liked the look and the feel of it. So I looked on the screen, the image looked super sharp. I think they weakened the anti-alias filter to do that. It was a very early implementation of 24 megapixels for Nikon. So what suffered was the frames per second. So this is like about 4, I think. And the ISO capability settings are only 100 to 1600, and you know, personally I'd probably stick to the low ones anyway. Yeah, so I mean, being mega expensive and being criticised quite a bit, I don't think there were just many amateurs have got them. The kind of people that make YouTube videos about cameras tend not to have this camera, but you know, I like it. I also kind of enjoy the Hitler. There's a great Hitler video about this. When this came out at $2,000 more than the plain D3, people were appalled, you know, given its shortcomings. And somebody put some subtitles on the Hitler video from Downfall of him ranting to his generals, and they've put the subtitles on, ripping the piss out of the poor old D3X, you know, saying it's getting rubbish and terrible value for money and things. So that's kind of great fun. But that's an $8,000 camera in 2008, and not a 650 quid camera in January 2019. We're now in May 2021, so I used this for a year for portraits until the COVID thing came in, and I really like it. You know, I think it's sharp and colourful, and as long as you get the exposure more or less right, it's good. If you want more flexibility from your raw files, well then you know the D4 is the classic one with the most flexibility of all. I've subsequently also bought a D810. There you are, filming that on manual settings at 1250 ISO and with a kind of manual AFD lens. That's fine. Those images are a little bit sharper than these. Well, they're not sharper, but they've got more detail in them if you really blow them up. But having said that, you have to really blow them up to start to see that. The thing about the negatives from the D810, the raw files from the D810 is you're probably able to rescue more stuff if your exposure's wrong. The D3X is probably a bit more critical on that. You know, you need lower ISOs and you need to have your exposures about right. But if you are a studio photographer, you know, using a flash meter, then you know, you're not gonna have a problem with that. And I haven't had a problem with that. What else about this? What do I not like? What I really didn't like was the fact that you didn't have an info button on the back, so you couldn't just get a thing up and then change your kind of ISO and white balance and things, settings nice and easily looking at that. You've got this little tiddly screen here that has them on, so you can just about see eyes on it, but my poor sort of Morecambe and Wise crappy eyesight means that the little things for quality and white balance, you know, very hard for me to see on this little mini screen. But to the rescue, you can set the My Menu top item up as your white balance, and that's what I did. And then I connected it to the custom function button there, and use the middle finger and get white balance up straight away. So no problem about not having an info button on the back. Focusing, I probably already said, didn't I? That's about as sharp as the, a little bit better than the D700, I would say. Maybe even a little bit better than the D3. I tried a D3 and I didn't think this was any worse than the D3 focusing. D810 is probably a little bit better, but you know, this works fine. You know, mirrorless, you get the kind of eye focus. It finds the eye and lands on it. You've got focus points all over the screen. But if you've used film cameras and cameras for a long time and you know how to just move your focus point around, land on it, maybe use back button focusing, you know, you're not going to have a problem focusing with a DSLR. So really the mirrorless stuff is like a luxury if you've got tons of money. But if you want a real classic beast that just works, you know, double, well, I need to find this. You've got a funny little flap here, and you flip this open for double CF cards. Let's see what else about this. Because it's a 2008 camera, it's got USB 2, and that's pretty slow. If you do like a portrait shoot or something, or a home studio or group shoot, you come home with 300 or 400 raw files on the camera, then it's going to take quite a long time to upload them if you use this. But reasonably cheap Kingston USB 3 card reader is pretty fast, so I recommend one of those as well. That's good. What do I shoot lens wise on here? I've got an 85-18G, but for convenience I've got this 24-120 f4 VR. that works pretty good. I mean, for a portrait, I tend to be f6.3, f7, f8, f7.1. I should have said, shouldn't I? That's the number. Get everything sharp. That works. You know, this lens is decently sharp. It's not quite as good as the 85-1.8G, but it's pretty decent. And if you go to like a group shoot or something, your image is going to look good off this, and it just changes. You just don't need to keep changing lenses all the time. So that's a good thing to have. I'm kind of looking at the 24-70 as well, but I haven't got one yet. I'm thinking about that. Other things. Oh, 2008 camera. No video in there. Can you believe it? What a fucking scandal. No video in a camera. It's almost beyond belief, but who cares? Who cares? If you're wanting to shoot portraits and you want something that has had Nikon's absolute, you know, no expense spared research into, and quality testing. This is old, 2008, as I said, but it really holds its own and produces decent, sharp images today. And I think that's a testament to the kind of the quality that Nikon applied to producing this. So I'm a fan, and I'll finish this video before the background collapses again. Okay, cheerio.